Beathard sets up deep in the pocket. Goes down the field for Smith.
Has some time. Touchdown!
Steps up, does it. Pass is caught. That'll move the 6. Tyrone Tracy. There he goes. Tracy. Towards the end zone for the Iowa touchdown.
What's up, guys?
How's it going? I'm all pumped.
And
man, what a great win by the Hawkeyes over the powerful and mighty Michigan State Spartans. I am so proud of this team persevering, coming really to their senses as a team and beating the well-coached. Who's the coach? Oh, there is no coach. It's just a guy helping on the sidelines. D'Antonio, I believe his name is. And
the actual coach, though, is I think he carries some weight back in the day. I don't have time to look.
Antonio?
No, the head coach, like the interim dude that because I think D'Antonio is just playing in the background, isn't he?
Yeah.
Did you see him on the sideline?
Yeah. I don't even know his name. But good win for the Hawks. Good win for the Hawks. How are you feeling over there?
Well, explain to me how they got these 13 points in the fourth quarter. What happened there? I turned the game. I was in the middle of traveling, and the game was, I believe you were down by 3, and then I turned it back on, and you're up by 10. So what happened there?
Once again, I'll be honest.
You didn't watch it, did you?
No, I watched the whole thing. So we had the kids over, so. From where I sit on the couch, I can see into my office TV because it's mounted on the wall. And so I had 4 games playing on all day as I watched movies with the kids. So it was
multitasking.
Multitasking.
Yes, exactly. Right. I was fulfilling dual responsibilities yesterday. But I watched the Hawkeye game. I did miss some things. Here's the problem is Cade McNamara goes down almost right away. So, and I texted you guys when that happened, and we talked about this pre-show. Like what quarterback in their right mind now is going to want to play for Iowa?
That first drive looked good.
Did I not say that the first drive would be scripted and look well? And then it completely. How many 3 and outs did Iowa have? I mean, it was ugly football. And the problem is Michigan State is ugly just on the basis is they're uncoordinated, but they got some semblance of a team put together there. And Iowa, I almost wondered for a minute if Iowa's defense wanted to at least give Michigan State some points here just to see what our offense would do. Hey, we'll have some points.
That'd be ballsy.
Well, so what's the consensus on Cade? What's the injury?
He's out for the season. Out for the season.
What's wrong?
Probably his college career, right?
I don't know the specifics. I think someone's saying that he's going to be able to be eligible for next year as well.
Okay.
Did he break his leg or pop an Achilles?
No, the thing is he's been playing on an injury with his muscle tendon on his leg, and you can see that on his left leg he can't plant off of it. And what happens is he plants off of it, and then immediately goes down. And he's, they haven't come out, I don't think, officially and said what's happened. We'll probably have to wait to see
Okay.
what happened. But yeah, I mean, he's gone. It's over. Like that injury,
Now you get your
he should have had surgery on it when it happened, but he said he'd play on it through the season and then get surgery afterwards. But he getting surgery now. Yeah. And if you're Cade McNamara, do you want to even come back next year?
you got to your tape. I don't think you got enough.
Where else is he going?
Yeah.
Besides a mid-major or a lower power conference school? I mean, maybe he would take a power conference school where they would be like, "Hey, we're more willing to do what you want to do." But
I mean, why not go to a Pac-12 school and
Pac-12
just air the ball out?
He's gonna only have Oregon State, Washington State to go to.
I mean,
he needs to figure something out because he's not going to get drafted if he comes out. He's got to almost go back another year.
You're not going to get drafted if you stay at Iowa, though. Come on.
Honestly, I don't think Cade was ever really going to be drafted. I don't think he was going to be a player that was going to make it to the next level anyway. Maybe if he never had that injury at Michigan, because he had. So I don't know if you guys remember the injury that he had. He lost his starting job to JJ McCarthy, and then Michigan, just like a lot of schools, when you go on a lot of these teams, you kind of let the other guys play a little bit. And I believe it was either the Big Ten championship game against Iowa or it was the game right before, which I can't remember the team off the top of my head, but we were winning by a large margin. We were saving JJ for the college football playoffs, and we didn't want him to get hurt. So we brought in Cade McNamara. He came off of a minor injury where he had missed about 2 or 3 weeks or so. And when he came in from that injury, that's when his horrible injury happened. He played like 2 plays, threw a pass up, so it was garbage time in a game that didn't matter because we were already going to win, and we put him in just to kind of give the fans something else to cheer for at the end of the game. And so it's really unfortunate how he got hurt. Like, he would have never had that injury, A, probably if he never lost the starting job, or B, if we would have just kept JJ or put another quarterback in back there, but we kind of wanted to give him a farewell in his final game, home game at Michigan, and let him play a little bit more. So that was kind of unfortunate for him. So, maybe if that injury never happens and he moves on to Iowa or whatever other college, he has a chance to possibly work himself into the draft. But just based off of this year going another serious injury, I just don't think his draft stock is really there right now.
I don't know, it's not very, but that whole relationship kind of reminded me of Jalen Hurts, Alabama-esque.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the thing. Yes, we won 26-16, but third down efficiency, 2 of 13. I mean,
yeah, that's not good. So how'd the backup do? I didn't really pay attention. How's the backup quarterback? Who is he and how did he do?
Beacon Hill, he did real good. 11 for 27, 115 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception.
Okay.
I mean, it was respectful.
He's a chunky dude.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Yeah, no, he is. He's very much a big boy. I forgot what his stats were. He's like 6'3", 258. So
6'3", 258.
Yeah, he's
like a smaller Ben Roethlisberger back there.
Yeah, which is interesting because we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback that's mobile. So at least not even fast. We just need someone that can actually scramble. Cade can't even move really. Like
especially with his injury. He was like Peyton Manning back there.
Why do you need a mobile quarterback? Why not just develop a quick pass game? I guess you do need to rely on your legs if the pocket does collapse.
Well, if the O-line's not going to help you.
Yeah.
They were running shotgun on Penn State. They were running shotgun on Penn State, and their tackles were getting pushed into the quarterback every play on 3-man press. You know what I'm saying? So, Cade could not run up. Like if you could run up and step up into that pocket, but he can't plant off of that leg. And so the quick pass involved him staying still in that little pocket. And it was just that we don't have the line to do that. So I
Sure.
think what helps is, I'm not saying Deacon's fast, but anyone's faster than Cade. So pocket collapses, he's going to be able to just extend it a little bit longer. And then we have a real problem with receiver, gentlemen. We have a real problem with receivers. Like
Mhm.
our guys are not catching jack. They're not catching perfect balls thrown to them, to their hands when you need to on third down conversions. So that has to be addressed. I don't know. I didn't see anything. The problem with this game is at one point when we were down, I almost felt like, man, maybe it's fitting we watch Iowa lose to Michigan State, because this would be a bad loss. It'd be a really bad loss for Iowa, the Iowa program. Second primetime televised event in a row where you're humiliated against the odds. Like, it might not be a bad idea to lose this game. It really put pressure on the program to get some offense created, because our defense has been there for 4 years. So that did not happen. I felt a little guilty. I was chided by my girlfriend. She said I was a horrible human being for
For
saying
wanting
such
Michigan
things.
to lose?
I didn't say I wanted them to lose. I just said there would be positive outcomes from them
Mhm.
losing.
Wishful thinking then.
I mean, Pat Fitzgerald was roaming the sidelines. That was interesting. I don't know if he was just there. I don't know if he has a role or what, but
You shared that, and I don't know, is that a doctored image? Was that real?
I got it off of Twitter. Everybody was asking what Pat Fitzgerald was doing in Iowa.
Because I watched their offensive scheme for this game, and it seemed very Northwestern-y.
Well,
he could come in as an analyst. I mean,
that's what I'm thinking. Like, if anything, an analyst role hired to help out old Brian.
but
Maybe
you would
he's gonna
usually
take
hear
over
about that. Like, unless Iowa did it way under
Who
the
else is
books and you didn't hear about it, which kudos to them, but usually you hear it.
Iowa's had a hard on for Pat Fitzgerald for so long. Everyone does. Everyone likes Pat Fitzgerald. And I don't know. Like, to me, if we hired Pat Fitzgerald as a coach, then we're just asking to more of the fucking same.
Really?
Yes.
I think Pat is, I don't know. I mean, I think Pat, though,
do you want to win a national championship in off a playoff scheme, May, for Nebraska? Do you want to see Nebraska win a national championship game?
I do.
I want to see Iowa, and Iowa's been a lot closer than Nebraska has been in the last 20 years. And we need one more thing. You wait your turn. We just need offense. Just give me an offense, Iowa.
I think we're in line first.
Yeah.
We've been at the goal line for the last 2 years. All right.
Shot.
But you know, Michigan gets it. Harbaugh's gone. I don't see him staying. I think if Michigan gets it, I think he's going to have enough with the NCAA. He's going to check off the box of winning a national championship at the alma mater, and then figure out what NFL job keeps coming. But I don't know. You know how he is. He's like, oh no, I'll go. I won't go. I'll stay. I'm committed to Michigan.
When it comes to Big Ten football, their tradition is huge. And I honestly feel like Jim Harbaugh, they're going to come off with the playoffs next year. Michigan wins the national championship, and then he walks away next year. I'm calling it now. Write it down in the book, Shane. Write that down. Tell me what the odds are.
Takes the first. I think we have a better chance this year than we do next year, because next year we have the new playoff format. Georgia seems like they're having a down year this year. They almost got beat by Auburn yesterday. Alabama's having a down year this year. Those are the top two teams in the SEC. The Pac-12 looks good, but even USC 48-something points, 41 points on them yesterday. So I think
Michigan better get it this year. If they don't get it this year,
this is our year, man. This has to be our year. Ohio State's going to be tough. Penn State looks really good.
Tough.
But I think the top end of the SEC is down this year, and I think the top end of the SEC is more worrisome when it comes to playoff time than the rest of the leagues right now.
What you have that
That's gonna be-
everyone else doesn't have is you've got experience at quarterback. Georgia's using a new quarterback. Alabama's using someone that doesn't
Ohio
fit
State.
Saban. Ohio State. Penn State's got I think he's a sophomore now, or he's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
But you
And
guys
JJ's
have
been there.
JJ. He's got the most experience leading the race, besides Caleb Williams. But as we saw yesterday,
We'll see if he even makes it out of the Pac-12 this year,
Yeah.
because I mean their defense is dog water. So I don't know if that. So and actually, any more thoughts, Corey, on Iowa before I mention some other games here today? Any more
Again,
thoughts?
sloppy with turnovers, and it's just not good football. I have a real problem seeing us win against Nebraska. I have seeing us in a dogfight against Minnesota. I see us dogfighting every game. This, it's
especially
going to
with
be
a backup quarterback.
Yeah, that's going to be rough for you guys, especially losing your quarterback. Now it's like, what game plan do you even go to now?
Because you can't run the ball very well this year either. Still, and that goes all back to the O line. And trust me, I know O line problems. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. We might be right, and it might be Wisconsin's thing to run away with now.
So I've got a little trivia time for you guys. I don't know how well you guys actually followed yesterday's games minus the Big Ten games, but there was a game yesterday that had 104 total points, 1,343 yards, 66 first downs, 163 offensive plays, 803 pass yards, and 540 rushing yards. Do you guys know what that game was?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious I think would be USC-CU, but I'm trying to think.
It was LSU losing to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Yeah, that was
They lost
55 to 49. LSU, both of their defenses are trash. But that's a ridiculous amount of offensive yards. So when I was watching that game, it was like fourth quarter, and I'm pretty sure they scored like an absurd 20-something points between them in the fourth quarter or something like that. And that game was just a back and forth. And for Ole Miss to pull that out, I thought that was pretty good. It's funny too, because LSU was supposed to be like a top 10 team this year, and now they've taken 2 losses early. So I think their college playoff chances are a little ruined there.
I know, but the SEC, those stupid homers, they'll put in a team with 2 losses.
Yeah, they might.
Over like a 1-loss Pac-12 or a 1-loss Big Ten team, because they cock gobbled the SEC like nobody's business.
Yeah, unfortunately,
because it's all about money. It's eyeballs and money.
Unfortunately, that's how it is. So we'll see. Hopefully they don't allow a team like that. But the SEC has enough top-end teams this year, or I mean, every year, that they probably still will have a one-win team. It's just going to come down to what the rest of the leagues are doing. Some other games around the league that happened, kind of notable. Washington only beat Arizona by 7.
Yeah.
I think that was interesting last night. They didn't look as dominant as they had been, but they still pulled the win out. That happens sometimes. I didn't win my bet, so you guys did catch up a little bit. We'll go over the bets at the end, but my additional bet, Notre Dame did beat Duke by 7.
That was a great game. That was a great game.
If Duke wouldn't have gone for it on fourth down, or if they could have made that, then that would have been I remember they were down 10-0 at half with a failed goal line going into the half, and then they came out, took the lead, and then they allowed Notre Dame. So I still think Duke's a legit team, though. I think Duke is a legit SEC contender.
That's the crazy thing. We're talking about Duke, like Duke football.
Duke. It's not basketball. Duke football. That's really cool. I mentioned the Mississippi LSU game, crazy 55-49, big win for Mississippi. I'm taking LSU out of my rankings altogether after that one. Texas dog walked Kansas yesterday, 40-14. I thought Kansas was a little bit better. Texas is just really good. So I think that was a good one from them. Did you guys watch Deion Sanders yesterday?
I did.
Yeah, I had to watch that.
I did not watch the game, so why don't you guys talk about that one?
I was pretty impressed by it. Colorado it looked like a continuation of the Oregon game at the beginning, like just getting a beat down again. And I knew that USC sucks balls, so I kept my eye on it. And Colorado, man, they showed a lot of heart. Those kids showed a lot of heart. They fought back to within 7. So I forget
I
what the
think
final
too.
score was, but
48-41.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think Dion challenged those kids and was like, "Yeah, y'all could go out there and y'all could shit the bed like Oregon, or you could go out there." And he gave a lot of freshmen playing time that game to see who he had dogs wise on that team, and he found a couple more freshmen that are going to be really really good. I think USC, they were hoping that's just USC's plan to try to get to 60 and then hope to God your defense, the clock runs out on the scoreboard before the other team catches up. And CU kind of figured it out and got the game a lot closer because everyone thought, oh shit, here we go. I thought Caleb Williams was going to break the passing touchdown record against CU again for USC, but CU, bend but don't break. They came back. USC. I don't think they're winning a national championship. That defense is fucking trash. It is ugly.
It is not good.
It is so bad. And they have a ton of 5 stars, 4 stars on that team. I don't know what it is, but they are awful. And CU's defense is awful. I mean, they are horrendous. But
yes, it's bad watch, man. They just I have never seen just so much soft ground between a receiver and a corner in my life. And in every play, you're just like, what's going on?
Yeah, I was just like,
that's rough. It's rough. And honestly, I think we now have a good, everyone talked about Shedeur Sanders. I think we do have a decent 3-way race for Heisman right now at the quarterback position after that game. I think Caleb Williams is probably people's leaders right now.
Just he threw his first pick yesterday.
Yeah, so he's got 21 touchdowns, which is insane, with only one interception, completes almost 75% of his passes for 1,600 yards. But Michael Penix Jr. for Washington has almost 2,000 yards.
That's my boy.
16 interceptions, 16 touchdowns, 5 less, 2 interceptions. And then Shedeur Sanders has 1,800 yards, 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So I think Shedeur would be third on that list. I think I'd probably put, it's if you 400 more yards versus 5 more touchdowns, you're kind of getting into the gray area there of what's more important. They're both undefeated teams, so I think part of that will come down to their records at the end. That's also why I don't think Shedeur deserves the nod because they're a 3-2 team. So yeah, I mean that was a good game. I think Dion. I think they will win a few more if they can play like that. It's the Pac-12 and the Big 12 defenses, man. They're just so garbage. Oregon is the only team in that conference that has shown that they have a decent defense this year. I think Oregon ends up winning that conference just because of their defense. That's what's going to win it for them. Is the way that they played. I think they only allowed 6 points yesterday against Stanford. I would say Washington played a poor Arizona team and they even let up 24 points. So I don't think their defense is all that. Their offense is obviously great, but we'll see how those go. The only 2 games of note that outside the Big Ten was Georgia only beat Auburn by 7. I thought that was interesting. Georgia's not nearly as dominant as they have been the last 2 years or 3 or 4 years. And then, Chris, you won your other bet. Kentucky destroyed Florida. I didn't think that game was going to be like that. So I thought Florida would fight a little bit more. So Kentucky will make their way up into my rankings a little bit farther as well. Did you watch that game?
I watched bits and pieces of it. I mean, once it got out of hand, I just kind of kept tabs on it. But Florida looks terrible. Kentucky looks really good. But that's the whole thing with Kentucky. Kentucky is like the ultimate tease. They do so well, and then they'll like shit the bed against like Vanderbilt. You know what I mean? So get them while they're good now because they'll stumble, and if they don't. What is that? Mark Stoops over there in Kentucky? He puts a good product out. It's just his team stumbles usually against like I said, a Vanderbilt or somebody at the bottom of the SEC, and it's just like, But that was an impressive win against Florida yesterday.
Yeah,
another product of Iowa football.
Yeah,
all the way over to
what's Iowa's old weight training coach doing nowadays?
Oh man, I tell you what, it's a very respectable climate there. You can see it because our linemen get ran over in the third quarter.
Yeah.
So maybe you
So
should have had. What is this? Like, are you allowed to? In my opinion, when you're lifting weights, you want to increase, adrenaline, and so there's a lot
sure.
of yelling and screaming and stuff to.
So you think
for
it
you-
was a more like a motivational thing?
Because he yelled at everyone equally. He just yelled at
Mhm.
people in areas he knew was their soft spots
Yeah.
to get them angry.
Yeah.
Because he was a drill sergeant for the military back in the day. So there was military, it was a military style boot camp Iowa ran for their
Mhm.
weightlifting program.
So he just said the wrong thing to the wrong guy, and that triggered a series of events that led to him being fired because of public.
Yeah,
Some
it's
soft
not just
person that's not
10 years
Midwest built.
ago, he would have never been fired, is what you're saying.
No.
right, because it's it used to, that was an acceptable form of boot camp. But even the military doesn't do that stuff anymore,
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, that's unfortunate. So all right, you guys ready to move into the Big Ten games? I know we talked about Michigan State at Iowa.
Can we talk about the biggest game in the Big Ten?
You talking about Rutgers blowing out Wagner 52?
I called that spread.
You did call the spread. When I saw that final score, I was like, no fucking way, dude. Like, there's no way the Rutgers scored 52 points in a game.
I think Purdue covered too, right? Did both
Purdue
of you
covered,
take Illinois?
Minnesota covered, Maryland covered, Michigan covered, Penn State covered, Minnesota covered, Iowa pushed. So we're all going to get a tie on that one. And then Rutgers covered. So, yeah. Hey.
Let's get the big game out of the way. What happened with Nebraska and Michigan?
So
just, there's a lot of hope there in the beginning. Now,
honestly, I'll talk on my end, I guess, first. So not really. I mean, honestly, you look at the statistics. Besides the time of possession and the turnovers, like everything else is not super glaring in the overall score. Like you would think 45-7, you'd think you'd see some super glaring things. Now, the big ones are third down efficiency, right? Nebraska was only 3 for 10, Michigan was 8 for 13. So we did convert a lot more of those third downs. We converted
third and ones, third and twos. I mean, it was the correct third down distance that you need to be successful.
And the way we play our third downs is if we're on your side of the field, we're going for it on fourth. And we know, because we know we'll get at least 1 or 2 yards every time we run the ball. So if we can get a 3rd and 5 to a 3rd and 2 or a 3rd and 1, we're going to go for it. We converted 2 of the 3 of those fourth downs. Nebraska did have 1. Total yards, I mean, there was only 131-yard difference between the teams in total yards. Nebraska actually had more passing yards than Michigan. I kind of think that makes sense just because they went down early, so they're trying to get back into the game. Yards per play, Nebraska actually had more yards per play than Michigan did. I don't know if that's because of the long run touchdown that they had at the end of the game.
I think it was. Yeah, it was just garbage.
Yeah, because you guys had 6.6 yards per play. We had 5.9. Rushing yards was the big one. You guys just had over 100. We had about 250. So I think that was the big one, just letting the ball go down. And then, I mean, some of it I would say was lucky. Like that first touchdown was absurd that we scored, where he caught the ball on, I don't know what.
On the dude's helmet.
Roman Wilson. I don't know who their corner was that was guarding him. Linebacker.
He's a hybrid linebacker safety.
Because he was a big guy.
He should be playing in the box, but they put him at safety. I can't remember what they call it in that defense, but he's because they run that 3-3-5. So he's just a hybrid.
Yeah.
Isaac belongs in the box, but they put him in the back end for his experience, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he's been getting chewed up by linebackers and fucking wide receivers left and right. I mean,
yeah, and then Roman Wilson is our fastest receiver, so that was a tough ask for them. And then, I mean, I guess I don't know if you'd consider that underthrown, because I mean Roman Wilson was really the one who made that play. Because I mean, I would say most other receivers that they wouldn't have caught that.
If the DB would have had good positioning, it probably would have been a pick. But you throw it that way, knowing and hoping that the corner doesn't get his head around, and that's where you put it. You put it right where either your guy's going to make a play or that corner is going to get around quickly and make the pick. And so JJ pretty much just ran the odds in his head and was like, Roman's going to get this, or that guy's going to be extremely quick and twitchy, and he's going to pick it. And obviously Roman won that battle. So
Yeah, and I think that was just an unfortunate start to Nebraska. I mean, for you guys, because it's like we get a really lucky touchdown. We go straight down, score it, and then just 2 plays later, that unfortunate tipped interception and we're already like 20 or 30 yards away from the red zone. Couple handoffs, he breaks away for a big run. You're down 14-0 really early in the first, and now you start to get kind of like what we talked about. I feel like the players start thinking about like, all right, well, fuck, dude, we've only played for 7 minutes of game time and we're down 14-0. Like, how do we come back? What do we do? I think even the coaches are like, all right, our game plan's not working, and they just kind of try to throw it out the window a little bit. And then I know you were upset about the shotgun 4th down when you guys did get to our side of the field early in the 4th, and it was 4th and 1, 4th and 2. You put your team in shotgun, and you guys went for it. And you said some other Nebraska fans were upset about that shotgun 4th down attempt too.
yeah, I just don't get it. I liked our formation that we were in before the timeout, and then we took that timeout, and then we come back in shotgun. And Rule said in the press conference that he thinks Harburg panicked. He likes Harburg in that, but you take a 4th and 1 and then you move it to pretty much a 4th and 6. Like
Yeah.
you like I just did not like. I didn't like that. Like he's 6'5", 230, something like that. Like try to get up there and sneak it, but I mean, I just think he panicked and he must have. It looked like he kind of lost his footing and got like a piss poor jump because.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just didn't care for it. I know a lot of the fans didn't care for it. I know the TV didn't show it, but like that stadium cleared out fast after like the first quarter. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, like a lot of people on Twitter were saying that sections were just gone. And I don't know if that was just because it was like 95 degrees outside and the team's already down 21-0 in the first, but. Yeah, they said that stadium, it got empty and quiet fast.
Well, and I saw, yeah, and what I've actually seen a lot, because you guys have, I know a lot of Big Ten teams do like a reputation for selling out. I know Nebraska comes up strong for their team for any game, any season. I've actually heard a lot of chatter from like on Twitter and other forums and stuff of Nebraska fans saying that they're going to stop rewarding, that they should stop rewarding the school with sold out stadiums if they're not going to like give a better product to the fans. I mean, do you agree with something like that? Like,
well, the sellout streak, as much as I love it and kind of hang my hat on it, like, a lot of it is just padded by, like, so all they go by the tickets sold, right? And a lot of the boosters and alumni will buy they'll get a count, right, of tickets. And they'll figure out how short they are, and then the booster and alumni will buy the remaining tickets, and then they'll donate them to charities and donate them to like the Boys Town group, just groups like that. And then, so like people will show up, people won't show up, or you know what I mean. And so like they've said that sellout streak is kind of it's nice, but it's not true. It's what I mean?
I think we kind of do the same thing too. You buy a 12-pack of Pepsi, you get a Michigan ticket. I think they kind of do the same thing to try to get people to come to the game and sell out. I think Michigan's is not a sellout. It's like 100,000 streak of how many times we've had over 100,000 fans or whatever. I think that's what they go based off of. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it was.
Can I ask for some honesty, Shane? Like, did you have any sweat about this game, or did you think it was going to be exact domination from kickoff?
I didn't think we were going to lose. I had no worries that we would lose the game. I just didn't think that we'd be up 28-0 at halftime. Like, and I didn't think now, and Nebraska showed, like, I mean, even on that first, so they went, so it was touchdown Michigan, interception, touchdown Michigan. Nebraska drove down the field and they got down. They were within field goal range and they went for that 4th down and we stopped them. I think that's really where Michigan hangs their hat. That's like their bread and butter is those running up the trenches with that huge defensive line. That's what they like. So I think that's kind of the position they wanted Nebraska in. I think Harbaugh kind of challenges teams. Like, I would rather you go forward on 4th and 1 than kick the field goal and get the points. We want you to try. We think we can beat you. And I just think that, and then I know Nebraska coming in had one of the best rushing defenses, so I didn't know how we were actually going to rush against them. I think we did better than I originally thought. And like I said, if one or two of those 4th down conversions go the other way, if you don't get, there was quite a few passes tipped at the goal line that, they weren't intercepted, but I believe Nebraska also fumbled 3 times, even though we didn't recover them. It was just some sloppy hand play as well. That was just unfortunate on their end. So I thought we would win. Honestly, I thought we would cover. Like, I thought it was more going to be like we're up 14 going into the 4th. Nebraska starts to get tired. We run the ball out, maybe score like a garbage time touchdown and go up 21. That's kind of what I was thinking the game was going to be. I didn't think it would be what it actually was. I just thought, because especially the way Nebraska's defense has been playing up to this point, I thought it was going to be more of like a slot fest up front, and then a little hit and miss in between. We had 0 penalties yesterday as well. Nebraska had 4. So just losing the turnover battle, losing the rushing battle, losing the penalty battle. Your defense was on the field for 40 minutes. So that's a rough one too. It's almost as bad as what happened to Iowa in the Penn State game. And they said it was pretty windy at the game too. So going down and being forced to throw the ball was not a good combination to have in that game either.
May, let me ask you a couple questions, bud.
Well, let me go just on or no, ask your questions and then I'll rant after. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just curious. Like, did you at any time think you were going to beat Michigan?
Before kickoff, I thought we stood a chance. If I think it's just biased because the last time we played Michigan in Lincoln, but I can't say that I didn't think. I'm always going to say we're going to have a chance, but I didn't expect to get absolutely worked like a part-time job. I didn't think it would be that bad. I just, it was just, I just have so many questions and it's just.
If you were in that press conference after the game, what are you asking Rule? What are you asking your quarterback?
Well, they asked him what I thought they asked really good questions of what are we doing with our offensive line? Like, our left tackle gets beat all the time. He has a 0.0 rating in pass and run blocking grade, like a 0. What does that tell us that our depth is? I think our depth is absolutely trash if Cochran keeps on going out there. Like, Teddy Prohaska's this 7-foot, 300-plus giant, and he can't get healthy, or he would be the penciled. I believe he'd be the starting left tackle. But watching that game, I took away that, like I said in our chat, Michigan looked like an NFL team. Our trench team, our trench play, we looked tiny. Like, it was scary how small we looked compared to Michigan. And what scares me too is we had a great defense going in, but if you think about it, the teams we played, I think those numbers were bamboozling. And two, Harbaugh, he saw that, y'all have a top-ranked rush defense and this and this. I'm going to show you who the daddy of the Big Ten is, and we're going to see what your numbers stack up as. And he did. He challenged the state of Nebraska and was like, I'm going to show you who the King Dingaling is. And he did it, which all kudos to him, because I figured he would. I figured he was going to be like, you know what? You guys can stop the run. Well, I'm going to show you stop the run. And they had their way with us. And offensive line play worries me. Our quarterback, I love Harburg, but you're 6'5", and you throw. And I get the angles and throwing the ball, but like he throws the ball like he's 5'8", like he's 6 foot tall. Like he delivers it in such a weird motion for being such a big guy. It just baffles me. Like and Rule came out and said that they can't fix his throwing motion. That's just how he is. That's what it's gonna be. He's gonna have to figure out how to play in windows. He's gonna have to learn how to climb up in the pocket and deliver into windows and go from there. So good luck, I guess. If you don't want to fix it, whatever. But again, Anthony Grant fumbles. He gets the ball knocked out on a great play by that Michigan defender. That when he was wrapping him up, he made a good under punch and punched the ball out. We jumped on that fumble, luckily. Rule said that Harburg looked like he was trying to be Tom Brady. He wasn't going out there and playing like the Harburg of the past couple games, just free, loose, backyard football. He looked like he was just trying to do too much, and we can't have that. Like, just go out there and play. You're underdogs. You're not expected to win this game. Go out there, just be lucid, free. Quit being so damn stiff. Like, there's just no need for it. Like, just go out there and play. See where the cards may lay. You're not Tom Brady. You're not Peyton Manning back there. Go out there and do what you were doing before with the 75, 80-yard TD runs and making plays. Don't go out there and try to dissect that defense with a shitty offensive line. Just go out there and ball. I'm in the middle of something.
Right now.
Just, like that's the thing. I thought it was I think Satterfield bamboozled Nebraska into giving him a bag as an offensive coordinator. I think the shit that he pulled against Clemson and Tennessee last year, I ain't seen it. And I know that we probably don't have the pieces that he wants, but I mean, I don't understand how you cannot just build an offensive game plan to the talent that you have. Like if you the Ravens did it with Lamar. You saw that Lamar wasn't a very good passer, so you let him do it with his legs, and then you built up his passing, you built up his confidence, and now he is what he is. Like I don't understand it. Like it's just, if it's gonna be ugly, let it be ugly, but make it to the strengths of the team. Like make it to the playmakers you have out there. Like it's just, we have no identity on offense, and we haven't had an identity since Eric Crouch graduated. You know what I mean? Like what is the identity of Nebraska football on offense? We ain't got one. We don't know what we want to be yet, and it's 20 years of this shit. Like, come on, figure out what we want to be. And I love Rule, but I'm starting. And Twitter said this too. Is I don't think the way he wants to build it is going to work in the world that we live in now. You almost have to do what Deion's doing. Get rid of it, bring in, and spend money. Money is key. Kids don't care about tradition. Kids don't care about anything. They only care about how much money are you going to pay me? How much money are you going to pay me? If you're going to pay me enough money, I'll come and play, and I'll give you good effort. If you're not going to pay me anything, I'm going to go elsewhere and make a bag, because I can make more money playing college football than going and getting drafted by a bad NFL team. So, and the rumors of saying that our max is $300K for NIL deals, that ain't going to cut it either. $300K, you might get a kicker to come in for $300,000. You're not going to get star offensive linemen and pieces that you need. We need offensive help. That's $1 million NIL budget that you're going to need. I think Texas offered that Brandon Baker kid, that 5-star kid out of California. I think he offered him $2-3 million for 3 years to come to Texas. Like,
well, see,
that's what you're going to need.
And the way they do that is through the boosters. So
Yeah.
I think legally the school can't still pay them, but
it's
the
all
coach can
NIL
grab
stuff.
boosters to say, hey, pay this guy this much money so we can get him. We need this guy. I mean, the coaches are still facilitating it all, but that's how they
it
do
all
it.
runs through the NIL. Yeah, I'm not saying Nebraska. But
and then you guys have boosters, billionaire dollar, boosters. I don't,
we have top facilities. We have everything you could want, but I think it's Rule's mindset is he wants players that love the game. it's not Baylor and Temple anymore. It's not 2017. It's 2023 where all these damn kids, which I don't blame them, it's let's go get paid because we can tear our shit up on this snap and be out money. So why not go get money? Why not go to the highest bidder? You're an employee. It's just like all of us. You can't tell me that not one of us would take a job that paid so much more money to go, and then we'd be like, oh no, I love it here. Let me get paid $40,000 because I love it here. Instead of let me go take $1.2 million or $2 million to go do that. You bet your bottom dollar we're all going to do that. So I mean, I hope Rule can build it up and get it to where it needs to be, but I really don't. And the way in the world that we live in now, that NIL has to come correct, or we're not going to be even meteoric. We're just going to be. We could beat 95% of the lower half of the NCAA, but when it comes to the middle or even just the above middle, we can't compete. And that breaks my heart because we have everything I think that you could offer, and I feel like the players are just so used to losing, and I saw on Twitter a good point of Rule might have to go in and just clean house, keep the guys that he recruited this year because they're his guys and the mentality that he wants. But I'm so afraid that Mike Riley and Scott Frost did such a number on this program that nobody's patient anymore. None of these fans want to see a 5-year, 3-year build. They want to see a competitive 1-year, 2-year max build. They don't want it. Like, we're tired of it. We're sick and tired of, just give us 5 years, give us 3 years. We'll get there. These kids ain't waiting that long. They're not waiting that long anymore. You need to come in and you need to come correct, or we're just going to be what we are. And hope to God we get 6 wins and we go to a mayonnaise mustard Cucaracha Bowl, in New Mexico. Like, I don't get it. I'm just, I'll ride down with them and I always will, but it'll be interesting because a lot of people said we don't have the starting quarterback on our roster for 2024. Like, he's not on the team. And that kills me because I love Harburg and I want him to be the guy, but I don't know.
The rest of these games, he's definitely playing for his position next year.
Yeah, but what do you do with Jeff Sims now? Like, do you let Harburg go and play out the season and see what you get? Or do you go back to the guy that you guys brought in, that we brought in thinking he was going to be the savior and see what he can do? Because if not, you wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars on this guy NIL-wise, and you could have put that money elsewhere. And, like, we're just in a predicament that I don't know how it's going to play out.
Well, and the worst thing that could happen too is you can't make a decision, and then next year both of them are like, "Peace. Neither of them want to play here," and now you're starting from scratch again. So that's kind of a rough one too.
You don't have time to build programs. You can't build it.
Yeah, you have to. It's win now or don't win at all. That's how fans view it now, and that's how I think a lot. There's a lot more job pressure with NIL now.
If you don't hit on the NIL program, I think we've talked about this numerous times. If you don't hit, you're going to get left in the dust. Look what Colorado did. Colorado hit. Michigan State hit a couple years ago. Nebraska, we did not hit. We brought in all these guys from Florida, Georgia, Texas, all these schools. And you can't even tell. You can't even tell we brought in 4- and 5-star transfer portal players because they haven't done diddly squat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's something to just be like, holy shit. Like, you have to hit in your NIL. Like, if you don't, you're going to get left behind. Or if you're in, like, Michigan's case, Harbaugh got it built up. It took him 3 years, I think, to get it where he wanted it. Yeah. But now they're so powerful. Kids are going to stay. They're not going to go anywhere. And then he's got to have to shoo kids away from the door because kids are going to want to go there. Same with Dion. What he's going to do in CU if he sticks around for a couple of years, he's going to have to shoo kids away. And teams are going to pick up other people's scraps and be like, yeah, I'll pay you to come here because Michigan didn't have room for you. USC didn't have room for you. Georgia, CU, they don't have room. So we'll take it and hope to God it hits. But, I mean, I was really impressed with the size and the power of Michigan. It made us look like a Division II school in some positions. I was, and it was really cool to see how Hausman play. I just still dream of seeing him in Nebraska colors. He looks really good in that
He's
stupid
sharp out there.
maze and blah at that
Yeah.
15. But I mean,
Well,
Michigan
and-
looked good. That defensive line looked massive, and I was
Yeah.
just like, we don't have anybody to stop that. I mean, they had their way with us.
Yeah.
It was a senior picking on a sixth grader. I mean, it was
Sixth grader. Well, and that's where I think they hang their. I think that's where Harbaugh hangs his hat on as well, is the offensive and defensive line. If he can win the trench battle, he thinks he can win the game. We just need our quarterback to pick up a couple throws here and there, and that's how they kind of go through it. I know May just stepped away, but
Yeah, let's
now-
do what our picks were, man.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say the only thing I'll say on Nebraska, I know May's out of here, is I think that Nebraska, I think their ceiling right now, which is still higher than some may think after that game, is 5-2 for the rest of the season. I think that's
Yeah.
their ceiling. They have 4 games that I think they could if I looked up and Nebraska won the next 4 games, I wouldn't be surprised. At Illinois, first Northwestern, home versus Purdue. That's probably their toughest one, just depending on what Purdue is. And then at Michigan State. So I think Nebraska could very well win those 4 games. I have a tough time visualizing them beating Maryland and at Wisconsin right now.
Yeah,
And final game, just because, I mean, I don't know what Iowa is going to look like at the end of the season. It's like I could very well see them winning that game too. So 5-2, I think, is your ceiling, which would be 7-5 overall on the season.
I take it. I swear. I mean, at this point, like Michigan showed us where we're at, and it is opposite ends of the world, and that's kind of what we needed. We needed to go see what we compared against to the Big Ten, and Michigan was like, "Y'all aren't there yet. You're not there yet. Come back next year. Come back in 3 years because you ain't got it. You're not there." Which is fine. I'll take it as a fan because I mean, I need to see how we're going to be against these perennial powers of the Big Ten. Because now I feel like we should have never left the Big 12. I kind of wish they would call us and be like, hey, you want to come back? Because I'm tired of just being the walking mat or the welcome mat to this. Because, I mean, now Maryland, if Maryland dog stomps a hole in us, I'm going to be really, really sad because they were always kind of like a bottom team and like,
Yeah.
oh, are they ever going to stand a chance? Because of where they're located and how they build. They look good. Like I said
they
at
are
the
good.
beginning of the year. That was my sleeper team for the Big Ten East. Like, like, I mean, the West is the West, but I mean,
I think the top 3 teams in the East is going to be that's who's going to win it this year. I don't see a West team taking it from one of those 3 teams this year in the Big Ten championship game. It's possible. It could happen. Wisconsin, Minnesota maybe can get hot, but I just don't see any of those teams taking it. So I'll read down the other ones and then we'll go over our picks. So Minnesota beat Louisiana by 35-24. Penn State walked into Northwestern, which was a very close game for a while, but they pulled it out at the end 41-13. Purdue destroyed Illinois. I don't know. I told myself I wouldn't bet for these damn I teams, and I still did it anyway. Purdue won 44-19. Maryland beat Indiana 44-17. Rutgers beat Wagner 52-3. And then we all talked about Iowa beating Michigan State by 10. So May got a little bit of a lead on us here. So it's only by
Was that tough to say right there? So
no,
it's better.
the only game that
there's a reason I
screwed me
said
was
May,
taking
'cause-
Nebraska.
Yeah, well, so the Nebraska, yeah, if you could have bet for Michigan instead of Nebraska, you would have had an even bigger lead. So in the I did the worst this week in the what do you call these? The money line bets. I was 6-2 because I did pick Duke as my extra game. Duke lost, and I picked Illinois to beat Purdue. So I went 6-2. Chris, you went 7-1 because you did pick Nebraska to beat Michigan. And then Corey also went 7-1. I think yours was also picking Illinois to beat Purdue. In the spread bets, Corey and I actually did the same. We both went 4-3-1. Partially because Corey, you picked Michigan to
Welcome
win
to my
the game,
level.
but you picked Nebraska to cover.
Did.
Which actually, Corey, this is good for you. I think this is the first week you were positive in the spread
Yeah,
bet. So,
it's not good. I've learned that don't bet on spreads.
so
That's
yeah,
why-
so those ones
I'm
that
a
was right
money
for
line
you. You also bet on Rutgers, and those were the two. And then the Purdue one also screwed us as well. And then May, you went 6-1-1 in the spread bet, so you got a 2-game catch up on both of us there.
One time I didn't put money on it. I felt
You're
really good this
yeah.
week.
And
I
again,
could've-
your only loss was the Nebraska covering the 18, and then we all would have pushed regardless on the Iowa game with whatever you decided to pick. So we all got a tie with that this way. I haven't calculated the finals yet, the totals, but you did get a little bit of you did come back a little there. So two game up on you there, or I guess a 2-game close up there, and yeah, so. May's the
check
win
us out on
for week
X.
5.
Yep.
Week 5, May wins this week for week 5.
Wait, how does May win when I go 7-1 on money?
So you both went 7-1 in the
I thought you went
money line
6-1.
in the money line, but the money lines are a lot easier to pick because most of these spreads are like
Wow.
okay, it's like all right, Rutgers over Wagner. Is anyone really going to pick Wagner to win the game? No, but it comes that spread is the hard part. 46.5 points. Like that's it's hard to predict those. No one thought Northwestern would beat Penn State, but the spread is the part that's like the harder one. So, and then obviously Duke screwed me over by not being able to score on the goal line. So, other than that, that's pretty much all I have for this week. I mean, there's nothing too crazy coming up during the week next week. If you guys want, we can talk about the Friday game next week. It is going to be Nebraska at Illinois, just because we're not going to podcast again until Saturday morning.
Okay.
We can talk
All
about
right.
that game. So Friday, the 6th of October, Nebraska at Illinois. What does Nebraska need to do to beat the Fighting Illini?
Matt Rule said he said in his presser, we're going to find out who we are and what kind of team we are going into Friday. Are they going to hang their heads and sulk and play the pity me, or are they going to accept the challenge, regroup, and go and destroy Illinois? And I believe we are. I believe they're going to pick their head up. But like I feel like Bielema he's. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 3-point game, which we should. I feel like watching Illinois this year, we should beat them by 21. But I'm not going to be surprised if we barely beat them by a field goal. And the other thing with the field goal, our true freshman kicker, I hope to God he can get it figured out because I mean he was a phenomenal high school kicker and he was highly rated kicker and he's missed every single one of his field goals this year. It is not good. It does not look good. So I still believe in Tristan. He's going to be that.
Don't believe in Tristan.
Well, I know, but he's that next Nebraska kicker that is good. Chris Brown, Drew Brown, Alex Henry. We're gonna be okay. It's just he's a freshman. I think he's got to come over the hump and just remember it's kicking a field goal through the uprights. Like that's all it comes down to. Block all that shit out and put the thing through the uprights. But I want us. I don't even know. Is there a spread on it right now?
I don't see a spread on it right now. I'm sure they're probably going to wait for that to come out.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna say if we don't win this game, we're in terrible shape. We are not. This is a game we need.
Is it at Illinois?
It is at Illinois.
That's in
But I don't know how much that actually means this year for Illinois fans.
I'm going to give us a spread. Let's 10-point spread. Illinois
in Nebraska's favor.
Yeah.
I probably now we can revisit this. We'll probably revisit this over text in our text thread or whatever, so that we can get an actual spread. But like as of right now, just watching what Illinois happened to Purdue, like Purdue's a much worse team, and I say this with not trying to brag, but I think they're much worse than us. And that was essentially similar games. So I think Nebraska will be stronger coming in. They're going to say, okay, yeah, Michigan was big. this went wrong, this went wrong, this went wrong, and then they're going to go up against Illinois and say, "Oh, you guys are not nearly as bad," and I think they're going to have a better chance. So I would take Nebraska to cover that.
Yeah.
10 points. I would take Nebraska to cover the 10. I do
Our
have the
defense has got to get back to where it was. Like I don't even think JJ got touched. Like we got to get our pass rush going. We got to get that shit established again because, and I get Michigan has big boys and great offensive line, and they've won back-to-back offensive line
the
trophy
award,
but I mean we have to get the defense back, and we have to pin our ears back and go and get Altmaier or whoever it is for Illinois. It'll come down to our offense, man. I don't know what we want to do. I hope Harburg just plays free if he gets the start, which I think he will. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jeff Sims and Harburg do like a 50-50 at this point.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, if the spread was 10, I'd take Nebraska to cover that and get the win. I don't think Illinois is that good. I don't think they're good at all.
I don't think they're good either. I don't think they're good. So I do have totals here. Before we get out of here, we can end on this if you'd like.
Okay.
So bringing up third place, Corey, you are 22-7 in the spread or the money line picks, and you are 10-17-2 in the spread bets. May, second place in both. You are 26-3 in the money line picks. Or I'm sorry, 25-4. That 26-3 was mine. You're 25-4, so you're only one behind me in the spread bet picks. You're 2 above Corey, or 3 above Corey, and then you are 1 below even. You're 13-14-2 in the spread bet picks. So that one is really close. I'm 26-3 in the money line, so only one game above May there, and I'm 18-9-2 in the spread bet picks. So caught up a few games this week.
Spreads where you make all your money too. If we were gamblers,
if you're better, if you're just betting on each individual game, so that's where we're at. So we still have 7 more weeks to go to keep doing this. So it'll be interesting to see what our tally is at the end of the year. I'll go ahead and update it on Twitter, and I'll probably update my top 25 on Twitter today as well. So get that out too. So there's a lot of adjustments that need to be made on there. A lot of teams kicking out, a lot of teams being added in. So
is Iowa getting put back on that top 25 list?
Iowa has dropped down to they might be on the top 100 right now.
Thank you. That's nice of you.
Yeah, but no, it's Iowa. They won obviously the Penn State game. Kicked them out pretty far, and then not having your quarterback we don't even know what Iowa's going to look like next week. It's very up in the air of what Iowa is going to look like next week, and unfortunately for Iowa, I think you guys went into the season like we can win the West, and now it's like, can we even compete for the middle? Like, can we stay above those the other teams in the West? Like, I just don't think there's any way you catch Minnesota or Nebraska or Wisconsin at this point, and it's just kind of like, can we get to a bowl game? I think is what Iowa is just hoping for at this point.
Well, and I'm seeing whispers of the next season being dropped to the schedule, so I don't know if it's officially. When it's officially supposed to come out,
Okay.
Yeah, but
I mean, it should be coming out because they've got the teams in play now. They know who's coming. They're not going to take any more teams right now. So, I mean, it should be coming out.
As soon as you see it, you post it on Twitter. So, or X.
Oh, okay, interesting. Well, yeah, that'd be interesting to see. So, anyone else have anything? Any more comments, concerns? Anything else they want to get off their chest?
I think Dinkin Hill is going to lead the Iowa Hawkeyes to a Big Ten West championship. So
wow, that's a bold prediction there.
Yeah, well, no, I think guys, you watch it, just watch. It's my prediction. Put it in the book. Write it down. I want to see you write it down.
We need to have a little scroller where we could put you in there. Corey predicts Iowa Big Ten West winner.
I'm just gonna grab what I'm doing, like actually on this side behind me on that open space. I'm just gonna put like a piece of paper and like stick it in the wall and put ridiculous predictions on it. And then under first one, Corey, Iowa wins the Big Ten West, and then it'll say like after October started, so we know that this was after the injuries and after the Penn State game and after all that, and we'll throw that on there as well.
It's,
I love it.
There we go.
Cry? Who the hell is Cry?
I was. I'm not. I mean, here, let me fix it right there.
We'll just keep that as a permanent for the rest of the season. Permanent for the rest of the season, and then May. I think you said you wanted Nebraska to make the Fiesta Bowl this year. So that'll be the.
No, I said the sugar water mayonnaise.
The sugar water
Kakalika
mayonnaise,
Bowl.
yeah. Don't they do like a mustard one or mayonnaise one? Yeah, something like that every year. All right, guys, I'm gonna hit the outro. I'll see y'all later.
Sounds good.
See ya.
Trying to break contain. Martinez up the sideline. Still running. Look out. Taylor Martinez. What a run. He's got a lead. Martinez. Wow. Taylor Martinez. Touchdown. Husker. Play fake. Beathard sets up deep in the pocket. Goes down the field for Smith.
Has some time. Touchdown!
Steps up, Dungeon. Pass is caught. That'll move the sticks. Tyrone Tracy. There he goes. Tracy.